Hello, I'm Ollie and this is Simple Watch Reviews, where I review simple watches in a straightforward way. Today, my review of what many people call the biggest bargain on AliExpress, the Addiesdive Quartz Submariner. Okay, I'm going to start with the price on this one because the price of this watch I think is absolutely insane for what you get. So this sells on AliExpress right now for $37 US, which is about 28 British pounds. I actually paid less than that. I paid £23.50 for mine because I got it in a sale. And what you get for that money is a watch that there's basically nothing wrong with. It's an incredibly solid, decently made watch with a classic style. You know, clearly that style is stolen from Rolex, but if you can get past that, there's nothing to fault in this watch. Okay, so let me tell you what that 28 quid buys you. So this watch is 316L stainless steel, both the case and the bracelet. It has a ceramic bezel and 200 meters of water resistance thanks to a screw down crown. The two things that people might consider to be drawbacks on this watch are that it has a quartz movement and a mineral crystal. But that mineral crystal does have a bit of anti-reflective coating, and the quartz movement is made by Miyota. It's a Miyota 2115. So, you know, a solid, decent Japanese quartz movement inside. The dimensions are what you'd expect for a Submariner homage, so 41mm in diameter, 48mm lug to lug, although I would say the bracelet has male end links and those extend that lug to lug distance quite considerably. You'll see what it looks like when I put it on wrist. It definitely wears a bit big for me because of those male end links. It's 13mm thick and it's got a 20mm lug width. Weight-wise, with all of the links in the bracelet, it weighs about 163 grams. Size for my 6¼ inch wrist, it's 134. So those are incredibly solid specs for the money. Some people will turn their noses up at the quartz movement and the mineral crystal, but to be honest with you, I don't have a problem with either. And the quality of the watch is equally decent for the money, so nothing to write home about, but definitely solidly made. The case is simply finished, brushed on top and polished along the sides. The crown is signed and the case back is engraved. I personally find the engraving on the case back a little bit rough on the wrist, but that's a minor grumble. The ceramic bezel is very nicely done. I opted for the green bezel with the black dial, but you can get this in all green, all blue or all black as well. It's a 120 click unidirectional bezel and it clicks really nicely, very little back play, and it lines up perfectly on mine. The bezel is loomed, as are the dial and hands. The loom, I have to say, is a little bit weird. The bezel has BGW9 loom. The dial and hands have C3 according to Addiesdive, but it doesn't look like it quite matches up to me. And the hands definitely have a slightly yellower glow. The bracelet's a 3-link oyster style bracelet. It's got solid end links, brushed side links and polished centre links. The clasp is a press clasp with 3 levels of micro adjust. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of the polished links, but those are easy enough to brush out if you want to. You just need to use like a scouring pad on them and you can brush them up so they match the outer links. This being a Submariner homage, it has a date magnifier as well, which is perfectly decent. Not the best I've seen, but certainly not the worst either. The date window has a nice stainless steel frame around it, as do the indices. And as you can see, the finish on the dial and hands is perfectly acceptable. If I put it on wrist, you can see it wears exactly like you'd expect a Submariner homage to wear. So I have, as noted, 6¼ inch wrists. It's definitely a bit big for me, mostly because of those male end links. But I have a fitted rubber strap I'm going to put it on. I think that will fit me much better. So what you have here is a very solid feeling, decently finished watch with a classic style for next to nothing. What amazes me about this watch is I reviewed another Addiesdive on the channel recently, their Luminox Navy Seals homage, and that watch compared to this was terrible. Now that watch was a bit cheaper. I think that's about £16 compared to the £28 for this. But that had an alloy case, it had a terribly sloppy bezel, and it had a pretty horrific bracelet as well. This Submariner is miles better in every single respect. It's almost hard to believe they come from the same company. I guess the big difference is that Addiesdive, and probably most of the other Chinese manufacturers as well, have huge amounts of experience of building Submariner style cases. They could probably do them in their sleep, and as a result they probably got the cost down on those cases massively over the years. If you don't have one of these Addiesdive subs already, I definitely recommend picking one up. It feels like a bit of a no-brainer to me for the money. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Please give the video a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it, and also please consider subscribing for more simple watch reviews.